Hi there, I'm Dougie and I'm part of the KC family, and I'm just here to welcome you to KC Anytime Sunday. I'd like to thank you for joining us today for our worship, our message, and also other special features.
Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you
Hi church, happy Sunday. I hope you're all really well this week. This week it's my pleasure to have Melissa with us on KYA Sunday. So hi Melissa, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. I have really enjoyed the sunshine over the last week. A bit sad that it's been a bit colder the last few days, but
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's glad to not be burning anymore. So, as always, we're going to start with a game. So today we're going to be playing Spot the Difference in my kitchen. So I'm going to give you 15 seconds to survey my surroundings. I'll disappear. And then I will blank out the screen, and then you will have to identify what changes have been made. So spot the difference. I'll also tell you how many that are. Okay, so I'm going to give you 15 seconds to survey, and then I will turn off the camera. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Perfect. Okay, so here you go. Think you've got it all?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, let's see. So I am going to stop. You get to see one of our lovely wedding pictures for a moment. Okay, so there's some changes being made, and now I need you to tell me what the changes are. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
Perfect.
ready.
Right, I'll step out away again, and you can tell me what you noticed.
On the fridge is 3 of the photos missing.
There are photos missing, yes, so that's one.
Yeah, the vase is different.
Yes,
The flowers are different.
yes.
Is the chopping board, or I think it's like the brown block, is that a chopping board?
Yes.
Yeah, is that a difference? The cookbook?
Mm-hmm.
The mug rack?
Yes. What's changed with that?
Is there different mugs on it?
Yep. There's two more, maybe three more.
Is it the kettle?
Yes.
Ooh. Is it the books on the fridge?
No, they've not changed.
Is it the brown bottle that's next to the cookbook?
Yes, that's a candle, so that has changed from pink to
Yeah.
black. And one more.
I don't know, I can't see it.
There were some flowers in the vase next to the cookbook.
Oh, that must be in it.
Good job, though. That was excellent. Well done. So, Melissa got all but one right. So, how did you do at home? Let us know how you've gone. So, Melissa, we have been in lockdown for a very long time now, and we've been able to see some people this week. What has been your highlight of lockdown this week?
Probably we've had a few fire pits, and I've definitely got to sleep in a bit more. That's really fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. Have you been enjoying the weather?
Yeah, we've been on a lot of bike rides because of it, and it's quite fun.
Great. Okay, that's fantastic. The weather has been great, and I think everybody's been out enjoying it, which has been making it
Yeah.
fantastic. Good. And I hear you've also been working very hard at school.
Yeah.
Lots of online classes to deal with.
Yeah, I have so many tomorrow.
So the joys. Well, I'm glad you're being studious and doing them all very well. I have asked you to give us a verse that you would like to share with the church. So do you want to share that with us just now?
Yeah, I'd like to. My verse was Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
That is great. And why did you choose that verse?
Because it tells me not to worry and like listen to God and like what He's saying, because not anything else around me is important. And no matter how big all my worries are, God's there, so He'll protect me.
That's fantastic. Great. Thank you so much for that encouragement. And I'm sure it will speak to many people in the church. So thank you. Well, it's been great to catch up with you, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, same.
And
Thank you.
hopefully we'll get to see you soon. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
church. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Good morning everybody and welcome to another Sunday. It is my privilege this morning to bring today's message. As it is the first Sunday of June, believe it or not, we're going to continue with the series Life in the Psalms that the First Sunday team had been working on. So this morning we're going to be reading Psalm 100 together, and I hope that you're going to find this morning's message a real encouragement. Psalm 100. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. And as you can see, it's a happy psalm. It's called a Psalm 100, a psalm of thanksgiving. So it's all about praising God and being thankful for the things that He has given and is to us. So I'm just going to break it down a wee bit this morning, chat through a couple of wee bits and what it made me think of, and hopefully you'll get something from it as well. That first section, shout for joy to the Lord. Now, I don't know about in your house, but in our house certainly, shout does not have particularly positive connotations. In fact, the word shout is usually used when my children are saying, "Mum, don't shout," or "Mum, stop shouting." And to be honest, I don't really shout. I think that I just raise my tone slightly, just above a normal talking tone, but anything above normal level would be considered a shout by Nathan and Jessica. And the only reason that this would happen is because I would probably have asked for something about 5 times, put your shoes on, get your jacket, can we get to the car? And when there's no response, then you have to, put a wee bit more emphasis on it, so I would raise my tone slightly. And I think that's the thing with shouting. The definition, if you look it up in the dictionary, is that we shout to show emotion. So that would be quite a negative example of me being frustrated and beginning to shout. But here we're told, let's shout for joy. So that build up within us is actually of joy and thanksgiving for everything that God's done. So let's let it bubble away until we can't help but shout it out. And it's just such a nice picture of being able to do that. The next section goes on to say, worship the Lord with gladness. Now, I think that then takes a slightly different tone, because I would say that worship to me is something that's maybe a little bit quieter. It's something you do maybe in a quieter setting, or it's something where you're sort of still in your heart, like be still and know that I am God. That's what I think about when I think about worship. And I think one of the things that I probably miss most about getting together on a Sunday morning is that time of collective worship where we're all worshipping together. And I suppose I'm thankful that isn't just what worship is. Actually, worship can be done anytime, anywhere, and it's just when we spend time with God. So whether we are praying or reading God's word, or just being still before Him, or we can do it in everything that we do is worship to God. But I have found that I'm out of my routine a little bit because of everything that's been going on recently, and like my quiet time before God would probably have been maybe on my way to work in the car in the morning, just chatting to God about my day, and then all of a sudden I don't have that journey anymore. I'm straight up and into breakfasts and homeschooling, and the day gets away from me. And one thing that I've really enjoyed doing, and one thing I've found really helps me to worship, is being out with my dog. So we are fortunate enough to live right beside a nature reserve, so it's easy enough to grab the dog's lead and take her out for a little while. And I think there's just something about being outdoors. I don't know if it's about seeing creation, the changing of the seasons over the last few weeks, the sun setting, the birds singing, but there's just something about you or about it that's just helps your heart to really connect with God. And I find that talking with God and listening to God when I'm out is just something that I've really, really enjoyed. And I think from that line, worship the Lord with gladness, you can't help but when you're sitting thinking about the things that God's done and the creation around you, but be filled with gladness. So this morning I just want to encourage you that if you don't have a time or a place that you set aside to just spend time and worship God, then I encourage you to do that. And if that means it has to change a little bit from what it was before, then that's fine, because we're all trying to find our new normal. But it's definitely something that I've found great benefit in. When everything's getting too much, just get out, and that quiet time with God has made all the difference. So just the start of that psalm, we've got shouting, because we've got these shouts of joy and we're overflowing, and then we've got that worship with gladness as well, and it's all these positive connotations of spending time with God and thinking about who God is, and then the reaction that stirs up within us when we realise what God has done for us. And the psalm goes on, come before Him with joyful songs, know that He is God, it's He who made us. I mean, how much do we have to be thankful for? And we are His. We are His people, the sheep of His pasture. And that sheep of His pasture reminds us of that earlier psalm that we've looked at in our KC dailies, Psalm 23, where we're told the Lord is our shepherd, and we're told that God protects us and God keeps us from harm and God gives us rest when we need it. And I think we're all in need of a wee bit of rest at times, and how grateful should we be that we have that in God, that he is the shepherd, that he's looking out for us, that he wants to keep us safe, that he wants to make sure that no harm is going to come to us. And again, that's something else that we can sing and we can be thankful for. And I feel almost like the first section of that psalm is like, here's what we should be doing. We should be praising, we should be worshipping, we should be singing. And then the end of it almost qualifies it, like, well, why wouldn't we? We've got so much to be thankful for, even although sometimes it might not feel like it. And as I was preparing for today, I couldn't help but think, we don't feel like this all of the time. Sometimes there are circumstances that can get on top of us. I don't think there's anybody out there that would say, I'm not thankful for what God has done for me. We can all identify what God does in our day-to-day lives, but sometimes circumstances can overtake a little bit, or we can get caught up in what's going on around us, and we can kind of lose focus of what God has done and is doing in our lives. And that's hard, especially just now with everything that's going on. Some of us are experiencing real problems, real hard times. Some of us have lost those close to us. Maybe our health has suffered. Maybe we've just been really lonely over the last little while, or the opposite of that. Maybe, your house has been so busy because everybody's been home all of the time, and we're all in a slightly different situation. But I want to encourage you this morning that in the midst of your circumstance, no matter how difficult it is, can I encourage you just to sing and to praise and to worship God anyway, because sometimes it's when we feel least like it, and it is when circumstances are surrounding us that we just can't find it in us to sing those praises and that joy. But actually, those are the times where we need that most, because that allows us to connect with God, and that allows God to come in and to give us peace and to give us comfort and to give us rest. So can I encourage you this morning, if you're finding things hard, then can just worship God. You're not alone. God knows what you're going through, and he's there to help if you just allow him to. When I was preparing for today and I was thinking about it can be difficult and hard times to praise and to worship, my mind kept going back to the story of Paul and Silas in prison, which you can find in Acts 16. And I just want to talk about that just really briefly this morning, because this is a time where things are a little bit difficult and it's a little bit different, and it can be easy to be caught up in your circumstance. And just a little example of actually how powerful your praise and your worship can be. And a wee bit of context is that Paul and Silas have been travelling around and they've been telling people all about Jesus, and they have been preaching the gospel. And they have been accused of a sort of public disturbance. You can read about it in Acts 16. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that just now, but it tells us that they have been stripped, they have been beaten, they have been put into prison. Now, those circumstances are not great. If that was me, I would be really worried about my future, what was going to happen. I would probably be quite sore, I would be in quite a lot of pain. I would probably be feeling quite sorry for myself, if I'm honest. I'm not got the best pain threshold. If I was them, I can imagine they would maybe be quite worried about, what's this going to mean for our ministry? We've got places to go, we've agreed we're travelling around these different churches. And I'll just read you what their response is when they're in prison. So it says, about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. When suddenly there was a violent earthquake, and the foundations of the prison were shaken. At once all the prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. So here they are in prison, difficult situation that they find themselves in, but it tells us that they are singing hymns and that they are praying to God. What great faith they had to, in the midst of those circumstances, to just be, giving it over to God and saying, well, God, I'm thankful in this, and here's my prayers and here's my songs. And why were they doing that? Because they knew that God was their shepherd. They knew that he was looking out for them, and they knew that he was bigger than the circumstances that they were in. And I love that it goes on to say that there was an earthquake and the foundations of the prison were shaken, and it's a fantastic story, so if you get the chance, go and have a read at it. But it also tells us that all the other prisoners were listening as well. So in the midst of all of this, actually, they were getting to share their faith. And in our day-to-day lives and the way we go about the things that we do, we are sharing our faith and we are sharing God and God's love with the people around us. And what a great example they are there. It ends up that they stay in the prison, and the prison guard is scared because he thinks that these prisoners are going to have escaped, but they haven't. And actually the prison guard comes in and he asks, how do I, what must I do to be saved? Because he's blown away by their witness in that situation. And it goes on to tell us that him and his household go on to be baptised because they come to know the Lord through that situation. And it was just a little example, and it was something that kept popping into my head, and I just was thinking about, our circumstances are difficult, there's no taking away from that, and times can be hard, but actually when we turn to God in those situations and when we praise God and we thank God anyway, then we are powerful. And I just want to encourage you with that this morning, that whatever situation that you're in, then praise God, thank Him for everything He has done, and your prayers too have power in exactly the same way that Paul's did in that story. So I suppose this morning I hope that you've been encouraged to be thankful and to be joyful and to sing songs. And as I was preparing for today, I actually wanted to sing quite a lot of songs. There was loads of Sunday school songs that kept coming back to me when I was talking about, that joy filling up and getting ready to kind of overflow into a shout. I kept thinking about that Running Over song. I don't know if you remember that from Sunday school, running over, my cup's full and running over. But we have so many truths that we sing about, and I just want to encourage you, if that's your way of worshipping, then break into song. I'll not break into song for you just now, but some of those sort of old hymns from way back when I used to go to a Baptist church, and I would have my red redemptional hymnal. They have really come back to me during this lockdown, and my children are like, "Mum, what are you singing?" Anyway, that's just aside. But I just want to encourage you this morning to do whatever you need to do to worship and praise God and to ignite that joy that is there inside of you, and regardless of your circumstances. And as you go into the week ahead, I want you to think about, well, what are you thankful for? Because there are so many things that we just take for granted. So let's think a wee bit more carefully about them, and maybe take the time to just thank God for them. Even if we've thanked Him before, let's thank Him again and see how powerful your prayer and your thanks can be. God is doing great things in us and through us, and the end of that psalm really gives us something to sing and to shout about. It says, "For the Lord is good, and His love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations." So take that into your week this week. I pray that you have been encouraged by this morning's word, and I would just like us to pray together, please. Dear Lord, we have so many things to be thankful for. We are thankful for each day that you're with us. We're thankful for our health, for our jobs, for the nature around us. But Lord, mostly we're thankful that you travel with us each day, Lord, that you care, and that you have got a great plan for each of us. I pray that as we go into this week ahead, Lord, that you would remind us of all the things that you've blessed us with, and that, Lord, you would be with us as we travel through each day. We thank you in your precious name. Amen.
Hi everybody, it's the McGregor family. I'm Vicky.
I'm Noah.
And I'm Ethan.
I'm Grant.
And it's our privilege just to lead you in communion this morning, and we hope that everybody just really feels a part and connected to the King's Church family wherever you are taking this, whatever time of day it is when you're taking communion today, that you would just feel a real connection and part of the family. And we hope that whatever kind of week you've had, that this is just a chance to stop, reflect and be thankful. And Noah's going to read the first part from the Bible for us this morning.
Then Jesus took some bread, he thanked God for it, broke it, and gave it to the apostles. Then Jesus said, "This bread is my body that I am giving for you.
Do this to remember me.
And Ethan's going to read the next part.
In the same way, after supper, Jesus took the cup and said, "This cup shows the new agreement that God makes with his people. This new agreement begins with my blood, which is poured out for you."
Okay, let's pray. Lord God, thank you so much for the cross. Thank you for the victory that was won there. Thank you for dying on that cross for us. We pray that you would help us to remember that during this time of difficulty and uncertainty, and that you would help us to be more together now than we ever have. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Have a great week, everybody.
All these pieces broken and scattered, and mercy gathered, mended and whole. Empty-handed, but not forsaken.
Thanks for being with us today. If you're new to the church and aren't watching this via our website, then please follow the link below. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, don't forget to hit subscribe so you can keep up with all our new videos that are uploaded. We'd also love to hear from you, so if you'd like to get in touch, then please email us using hello@connect.co.uk. And if you have a prayer request for our leadership team, then please email us using prayer@connect.co.uk. Again, I'd like to thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to sharing with you next time.